Do you wake up every morning feeling weaker than the day before? Your arms have lost their strength, your legs feel heavy, and your energy, once so steady, seems to fade before noon. You look in the mirror and wonder, what happened to me? The truth is shocking. It's not age stealing your vitality, it's vitamin deficiency. Silent, gradual, and entirely reversible. I'm Dr. Mohit Khera, a men's health specialist with over 3 decades of experience helping men restore their strength, stamina, and confidence. I've worked with thousands of men over 60 who believed their best days were behind them, but they were wrong. Once we corrected just a few key vitamins, their energy returned, their minds sharpened, and yes, their manhood came back to life. Here's the paradox. Most older men think they're eating right, even taking a multivitamin. But what if I told you that 90% of them are still missing the nutrients their body needs to make testosterone, protect their muscles, and fuel their cells? What if your healthy habits are actually draining you? In this video, I'm going to show you the truth. The right vitamins, taken every morning in the right way, can awaken your strength, boost your energy, and reignite your vitality, without drugs or hormones. Stay with me, because in just a few moments, I'll reveal the 5 essential vitamins every man over 60 must take each morning, and one in particular that can make you feel the difference within days. Before we begin, take a quick moment to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, so you'll never miss another men's health tip designed specifically for you. Your body deserves the truth, and that's exactly what I deliver here every week. And if you find this video helpful, type 1 in the comments to let me know it gave you real value. If you think I can do better, type 0, because your feedback helps me make every new video even more useful for you. Now, let's get into the real reason most men over 60 lose their strength so quickly. It's not just age or lack of exercise. It's what's happening inside your body, deep within your cells, where key vitamins quietly run out and your natural energy system begins to shut down. 1. Why men over 60 lose strength so fast. I've met hundreds of men sitting across from me in my office. Strong, proud men who once worked hard, raised families, and built lives full of purpose. But when they turned 60, something changed. They began to notice small things at first. Getting winded walking up the stairs, struggling to open a jar, feeling sore for days after doing yard work. Some even admitted, quietly and almost embarrassed, that their desire as men had faded too. They all said the same thing. "Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore." What most of them didn't realize is that their body wasn't failing them. It was starving. Not from food, but from the vital nutrients that power every muscle, nerve, and cell. You see, after 60, your body doesn't absorb vitamins and minerals the same way it used to. Your stomach produces less acid, your intestines slow down, and even if you eat well, your body can no longer extract enough of the good stuff. It's like pouring fuel into a car with a clogged filter. The gas goes in, but the engine never gets it. Inside your cells are tiny power plants called mitochondria. They take vitamins like B12, D3, and magnesium and turn them into pure energy, strength, stamina, and focus. But as you age, those mitochondria become sluggish, starved, and unresponsive. Without enough nutrients to feed them, your muscles lose power, your testosterone drops, and your brain starts sending the signal that you're tired, even when you've done nothing exhausting. This is why you can sleep 8 hours and still wake up drained. It's why your grip feels weaker, your steps shorter, and your motivation lower. It's not because you've gotten old. It's because your body's chemistry has quietly changed, and no one ever told you that you could change it back. When I test the blood of men over 60, I almost always see the same pattern: low vitamin D, low magnesium, low B12, and sometimes dangerously low zinc. These deficiencies act like invisible chains, holding you down day after day. They slow muscle recovery, weaken your heart, dull your focus, and make your body less responsive to the hormones that once fueled your manhood. Even worse, this process happens so gradually that most men don't notice until their strength is nearly gone. I remember one patient, John, a retired firefighter, 68 years old. He came to me convinced he was just too old to bounce back. He tried exercising, eating cleaner, even cutting out alcohol, but nothing changed. When we ran his labs, his vitamin D was almost non-existent, and his magnesium levels were half what they should have been. Within 3 months of restoring those nutrients, his energy came roaring back. His wife told me he started waking up early again, smiling, cooking breakfast, and yes, feeling like a man again. That's not magic, that's biology. The truth is, strength loss after 60 isn't about your willpower, it's about your body chemistry. The muscles are still there, the heart is still ready, the brain still remembers. But without the right vitamins, the connection between them breaks. And once that happens, everything, from your energy to your confidence, starts to fade. You can't turn back time, but you can recharge your system. You can teach your body to absorb and use nutrients like it did when you were 30. It all starts with understanding that food alone is no longer enough. You need specific vitamins, taken in the right way, to rebuild the energy pathways that aging has slowed down. And here's where it gets exciting. If you take these vitamins at the right time each day, you can actually reset your body's internal rhythm, your biological clock of strength and vitality. That's why timing matters more than most men realize. So in the next section, I'll show you exactly when and how to take them each morning to reignite your energy and feel young again. 2. The morning advantage. Why timing matters. I still remember the morning I learned how much timing matters. Years ago, I had a patient named Richard, 72, quiet, disciplined, a man who took his vitamins faithfully. Yet he still felt exhausted, his energy never seemed to return, and he couldn't understand why. When I asked when he usually took them, he said, "At night, after dinner." That single detail changed everything. Within 2 weeks of switching his vitamins to the morning, he called me, laughing, saying, "Doc, I feel like my body finally woke up." You see, your body isn't just a collection of organs. It's a living clock. Every cell inside you runs on rhythm, cycles of energy, repair, and renewal that follow the rising and setting of the sun. After 60, this rhythm becomes even more delicate. The moment you wake up, your cortisol levels naturally rise, signaling your body to start burning fuel, repairing tissue, and producing testosterone. It's in those early hours that your system is most ready to receive and use nutrients. When you give your body the right vitamins during that window, it's like flipping a master switch inside your cells. They wake up, absorb, and start rebuilding. Taking your vitamins at night, however, is like shouting encouragement to a sleeping worker. Your metabolism slows, your stomach produces less acid, and absorption plummets. What could have been energy becomes waste, slipping right through your system. But in the morning, with breakfast and a little healthy fat, every nutrient you take in has a purpose. Vitamin D binds to its receptors, B vitamins fuel the nervous system, and magnesium helps activate testosterone pathways, all synchronized with your natural rhythm. I often tell my patients to think of morning vitamins like jump-starting an engine. You wouldn't pour fuel into a car after parking it. You fuel it before the drive begins. Your body works the same way. When you feed it early, you prepare it to move, lift, think, and even love better throughout the day. It's not just about swallowing pills, it's about communicating with your biology at the perfect time. This is why I always recommend taking essential vitamins right after breakfast. Never on an empty stomach, because older digestive systems can become sensitive. But don't wait until noon either. The earlier you support your body, the longer it can work efficiently. Think of that first meal as your foundation for the day. Protein, fiber, and good fats combined with your vitamins create the exact conditions your cells crave to rebuild muscle and restore strength. And it's not only physical. I've seen men tell me that within a week of taking their morning vitamins correctly, their focus sharpens, their mood lifts. They wake up with more motivation, a sense of readiness they haven't felt in years. When you start your morning by fueling your body, you also train your mind to expect energy, to expect performance. The brain follows the chemistry you create. There's something powerful about starting your day intentionally, about saying to your body, "I'm not done yet." Every morning becomes an opportunity to reclaim what age has dulled. It's not about reversing time, it's about working with your body's natural rhythm instead of against it. And here's where things get truly fascinating. Once you understand timing, the next step is knowing what to take. Because not all vitamins are created equal, and one in particular can reignite your strength and testosterone in ways most men never imagine. Let's talk about that next. 3. Vitamin number 1. Vitamin D3, the strength hormone. If there's one vitamin that can truly change the life of an aging man, it's vitamin D3. I still remember when I first discovered just how powerful it was. A patient named George, 67, came to see me after months of exhaustion and low mood. His handshake was weak, his eyes tired, and he told me, "Doc, I just don't have the energy to feel alive anymore." He wasn't sick in the traditional sense, no heart disease, no major issues. But when I checked his blood work, his vitamin D levels were nearly zero. Within 6 weeks of daily D3 supplementation, his transformation was so striking, his wife called to thank me personally. She said, "He's smiling again. He gets up early. It's like I have my husband back." Vitamin D3 isn't just a nutrient, it's a hormone precursor, one that plays a direct role in testosterone production, muscle strength, and mood regulation. The reason I call it the strength hormone is because it touches almost every system in your body, from your bones and brain to your heart and reproductive organs. When your D3 levels drop, your body can't efficiently produce testosterone. Your muscles lose their tone, your bones weaken, and your confidence fades with it. Most men assume this is aging, but in reality, it's a deficiency that crept in slowly, unnoticed, like a light dimming over time. What many people don't realize is how common this deficiency has become. More than 80% of older men in the US have low vitamin D levels, and it's easy to understand why. We spend more time indoors, covered in clothes or sunscreen, avoiding the very sunlight that triggers vitamin D production in the skin. Medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, or heart disease can also interfere with absorption, making the problem worse. And even if you get some sun, your skin after 60 simply doesn't convert light into D3 as efficiently as it once did. The result? A quiet collapse in the body's power systems. Low D3 means lower testosterone, slower metabolism, and reduced calcium absorption. Your immune system weakens, your muscles struggle to repair, and your heart has to work harder to maintain the same rhythm. Some men describe it as a fog, others as feeling flat. But when we fix D3, that fog lifts, the strength returns, and the body starts to hum again like a well-tuned engine. For men over 60, I generally recommend 2,000 to 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 each morning with breakfast. It's a fat-soluble vitamin, so it absorbs best when taken with foods containing healthy fats, like eggs, avocados, or olive oil. The goal isn't to overdose, but to bring your levels back to where your body naturally performs at its peak. Once your D3 levels stabilize, you'll notice subtle but powerful changes. You wake up more refreshed, your joints ache less, your stamina improves, and your desire, both physical and emotional, returns. I remember telling George, "You don't need to be young again. You just need your chemistry to work the way it's supposed to." He smiled and said, "Doc, I feel like the lights came back on." That's the miracle of vitamin D3. It reminds your body what strength feels like. But here's the thing. D3 doesn't work alone. It's the first domino, the spark that ignites everything else. To truly rebuild energy and focus, your body needs the right support system around it, nutrients that turn that spark into lasting power. And that brings us to the next crucial element, the one I call the engine of energy. Let's talk about the B vitamins. 4. Vitamin number 2. B complex, the engine of energy. There's a certain look I see in men when they walk into my office feeling completely drained, their eyes are dull, their posture slouched, and their voice sounds tired even when they've just woken up. They say things like, "Doc, I'm not depressed, but I feel like the spark is gone." And every time I hear those words, I think of one thing: the B vitamins. These are the body's true energy makers, the invisible force that turns the food you eat into the fuel your body runs on. Without them, everything slows: the mind, the muscles, and even your spirit. I remember one of my patients, Henry, a retired engineer in his mid-60s. He prided himself on his discipline, a balanced diet, daily walks, and not a single missed multivitamin in years. But he still couldn't understand why he was so tired. He'd fall asleep reading the newspaper by mid-morning, and his hands would tremble slightly when holding a cup of coffee. When we tested his blood, his vitamin B12 levels were critically low, and his folate wasn't much better. Within 3 weeks of targeted B-complex supplementation, the difference was remarkable. His energy returned, his focus sharpened, and his wife told me he's back to fixing things around the house again. I haven't seen that side of him in years. What many men don't realize is that as you age, your body's ability to absorb B vitamins, especially B12, drops dramatically. The stomach acid required to release B12 from food becomes weaker with time. That's why even if you eat meat, eggs, or fish, foods rich in B vitamins, your body may not be absorbing them properly. The result is a silent burnout. Fatigue creeps in slowly, followed by forgetfulness, muscle weakness, and even tingling sensations in your hands and feet. The B vitamins, particularly B1, B2, B3, B6, B12, and folate, are like a set of gears working together inside your cells. They convert carbohydrates into glucose for energy, maintain nerve health, support red blood cell formation, and balance hormones that influence mood and motivation. When even one of them is missing, the system grinds down. You start to feel it in your mind first: fog, irritability, lack of focus. And then in your body: slower movements, weaker grip, and reduced stamina. The good news is, this kind of fatigue isn't permanent. Once your body gets the B vitamins it needs, it responds quickly. The fog lifts, the heart beats stronger, the brain feels clearer, and for many men, there's an unexpected bonus: a calmer mood and renewed patience. These vitamins nourish not just the body, but the nervous system itself, helping you handle stress with greater ease. I've seen men who thought their best days were gone come alive again just from restoring their B levels. They start taking morning walks again, laughing with friends, and reconnecting with their partners. That's the hidden power of the B complex. It doesn't just energize you, it restores your connection to life itself. When choosing a B complex, I always tell my patients to look for methylated forms: methylcobalamin for B12 and methylfolate for folate. These are easier for aging bodies to absorb and use effectively. One capsule after breakfast each morning can make an enormous difference within weeks. Henry once told me, "I didn't realize how much I'd adapted to feeling half alive until I felt fully awake again." That sentence stuck with me, because that's what the right nutrients do. They remind your body what it feels like to be strong and steady again. But even with energy restored, there's another silent factor that decides whether your body can truly relax, recover, and perform. A mineral that's often overlooked, but controls more than 300 functions inside you. It influences your sleep, your heart rhythm, and even your ability to maintain an erection. Let's talk about that next. Magnesium, the quiet power behind true vitality. 5. Vitamin number 3. Magnesium, the silent power mineral. There's a calm kind of strength that men lose quietly as they age, and most never realize why. I see it in their faces: the restless nights, the tightness in their shoulders, the fatigue that never fully lifts. They tell me they've tried sleeping pills, pain relievers, even energy drinks, but nothing seems to fix the problem. And when I run their labs, the answer almost always appears in one place: magnesium deficiency. It's astonishing how something so small, so simple, can create such a powerful ripple through every system in the body. Magnesium is the silent conductor of the body's orchestra. It regulates over 300 biochemical reactions, everything from your heartbeat to your testosterone levels, from how your muscles contract to how your mind calms down before sleep. Without it, your body loses its rhythm. Your heart races when it shouldn't. Your nerves fire unevenly. Your muscles cramp, your mind grows anxious, and your energy fades. And yet, despite being so critical, most older men barely get half the magnesium they need. One of my patients, Robert, a retired pilot in his 70s, came to me after months of insomnia and constant leg cramps. He said, "Doc, I can't sleep, and every night my legs twitch like I'm still flying through turbulence." He'd tried stretching, changing his diet, even cutting caffeine, but nothing worked. When I checked his magnesium levels, they were dangerously low. We started him on a gentle magnesium glycinate supplement, taken at night after dinner. Within 2 weeks, he called and said, "For the first time in years, I slept through the night." That simple shift changed his mood, his focus, even his blood pressure. You see, magnesium doesn't just relax the muscles, it relaxes the mind. It helps regulate serotonin and GABA, two neurotransmitters that calm the nervous system. It keeps your heart steady and your blood vessels flexible, improving circulation throughout the body, including where it matters most for men. When blood flow improves, not only does your heart function better, but your sexual performance often does too. That's why I call magnesium the quiet engine behind both physical and intimate strength. As we age, our bodies lose magnesium faster. Certain medications, like diuretics, blood pressure drugs, and antacids, can flush it out of your system. Add to that years of stress, processed foods, and caffeine, and it's no wonder most men over 60 are deficient. The signs are subtle: restless sleep, low energy, tight muscles, even a faster heartbeat at night. Many men assume it's just stress, but it's their body crying out for a mineral it can no longer store properly. When you restore magnesium, your body responds almost immediately. The first thing men notice is deeper sleep and calmer mornings. Their pulse steadies, their blood pressure improves, and their muscles feel more fluid and responsive. Over time, magnesium even supports testosterone production by reducing inflammation and improving the efficiency of other nutrients like zinc and vitamin D3. Everything begins to work together again, like gears finally oiled after years of friction. I recommend men over 60 aim for 300 to 400 milligrams daily, preferably in the form of magnesium glycinate or citrate, gentle on the stomach and highly absorbable. Avoid cheaper forms like magnesium oxide, which pass right through your system without much benefit. Robert once told me, "I didn't realize how much tension I was carrying until my body finally let go." That's the beauty of magnesium. It doesn't push your system. It guides it back to balance. It helps you feel grounded, steady, and at peace in your own body again. But there's one more key element that often determines how strong and vital a man feels, especially when it comes to testosterone and recovery. It's not a vitamin, but a trace mineral, one that directly fuels your masculinity and protects your immune system at the same time. Let's talk about zinc, the true metal of manhood. 6. Vitamin number 4. Zinc, the fertility metal. There's something deeply humbling about watching a man rediscover his vitality. I remember a patient named Thomas, 65, who came into my clinic one winter morning. He was quiet, polite, but his eyes carried that familiar heaviness I've seen in countless men, the kind that says, "I'm fading." He told me he had lost his energy, his drive, and even his confidence as a husband. "It's like my body forgot how to be a man," he said softly. When we ran his blood tests, his zinc levels were almost non-existent. That moment was a turning point, not just for him, but for me as a doctor, because it reminded me how something so simple, so small, could hold the key to restoring a man's very identity. Zinc is often called the fertility mineral, but I prefer to think of it as the metal of manhood. It's essential for testosterone production, muscle repair, immune strength, and even brain clarity. Without enough zinc, your body simply can't make testosterone. The testicles depend on it, the prostate uses it for protection, and your sperm cells rely on it for life and movement. Every time you sweat, urinate, or ejaculate, you lose zinc. And as you age, your body becomes less efficient at storing it. For active older men, that means the tank runs empty faster than you realize. When zinc levels drop, the effects creep in slowly. You might notice that your energy dips, your memory dulls, or your libido quietly disappears. Wounds heal slower, colds last longer, and your muscles lose their firmness. Most men chalk it up to getting older, but I've seen too many cases where a simple zinc restoration brought everything back to life: energy, performance, and even that quiet self-assurance that comes from feeling strong again. Thomas was one of those men. We started him on 25 milligrams of zinc picolinate daily, along with a balanced intake of copper to maintain mineral harmony. Within a month, his voice had more strength, his posture more confidence. By the third month, his wife sent me a note that read, "Thank you for giving me my husband back." I could feel the emotion in her words because it wasn't just his body that changed, it was his spirit. When men regain their testosterone naturally, they don't just feel more masculine, they feel more alive, more connected, more present in their relationships and in their purpose. Zinc also has another remarkable property. It shields the prostate from inflammation and supports the immune system's resilience. That's why men who maintain healthy zinc levels tend to recover faster from illnesses, experience fewer infections, and keep their minds sharper as they age. It's a mineral that bridges physical strength and mental clarity, one that silently fuels the essence of manhood from within. But here's what most people miss. Not all zinc supplements are created equal. Cheap forms like zinc oxide are poorly absorbed and can irritate the stomach. What your body truly needs are bioavailable forms like zinc picolinate or gluconate, taken with food in the morning to ensure steady absorption throughout the day. And always remember, too much zinc without copper can backfire, throwing your minerals out of balance. Balance is everything. Thomas once told me during a follow-up, "I thought I was just old, but it turns out I was just empty." That statement has stayed with me ever since, because that's exactly what happens when the body runs low on zinc. It loses its charge, its power, its spark, but when you restore it, the light comes back on. And as powerful as zinc is, there's one final key that ties everything together. The nutrient that powers the heart, fuels every cell, and gives older men the stamina to keep going strong. It's not a vitamin, but a coenzyme, the very engine of endurance inside your body. Let's talk about CoQ10, the true source of lasting vitality. 7. Vitamin number 5. CoQ10, the heart and energy booster. If there's one nutrient I wish every man over 60 understood, it's CoQ10. I've seen it change lives more times than I can count. Years ago, I met a patient named Walter, 70 years old, a former carpenter who had always been strong and independent. But lately, he said, he couldn't even finish mowing the lawn without feeling like his chest was tightening. "I used to swing a hammer all day," he told me. "Now I can barely carry groceries." He was convinced something was wrong with his heart, but his tests showed no major disease. What he had was something far more common. His cells were starving for CoQ10. Coenzyme Q10, or CoQ10, is not a vitamin, but a natural compound your body makes to power its cells. Think of it as the spark plug for your mitochondria, the tiny engines that generate energy in every cell of your body. Without CoQ10, those engines sputter and stall. Your muscles tire easily, your heart struggles to keep up, and even your brain begins to feel foggy. When you're young, your body makes plenty of it, but after 50, your production drops dramatically, and by 70, it can be less than half of what it once was. That's when fatigue, muscle weakness, and shortness of breath begin creeping in, symptoms that many mistake for aging or heart disease. What makes CoQ10 so special is its direct link to your heart. Your heart is a muscle that never rests, beating about 100,000 times a day. It requires a tremendous amount of energy, and CoQ10 is the very molecule that helps it generate that power. When levels fall, the heart becomes less efficient, circulation slows, and oxygen delivery drops. You feel that as tiredness, dizziness, or the sense that you've lost your engine. For men taking statin medications to lower cholesterol, the situation is even worse. Statins, while helpful for the heart, block the same pathway your body uses to produce CoQ10, draining your reserves even faster. That's why so many men on these medications feel drained, weak, and lifeless without understanding why. When Walter began supplementing with CoQ10, I told him to take it in the morning with a meal containing some healthy fat so it could be properly absorbed. We started with 100 milligrams daily, then gradually increased to 200. Within 2 weeks, his energy improved. Within a month, he said something that stayed with me. "Doc, I feel like my heart woke up." His blood pressure steadied, his stamina returned, and that dull heaviness in his chest was gone. His wife said he'd even started dancing again in the kitchen. That's what happens when you give the heart what it's been missing. It remembers how to live. Beyond the heart, CoQ10 also protects your brain and muscles by fighting oxidative stress, the internal rust that builds up as we age. It keeps your cells young and resilient, helping you recover faster from exertion, sleep more deeply, and stay mentally sharp. Some men describe it as a quiet revival. Not an overnight jolt like caffeine, but a deep, steady return of vitality that feels natural and grounded. I often tell my patients, CoQ10 won't make you younger, but it'll help your body remember what youth felt like. And that's exactly what I see. Men walking taller, breathing deeper, and facing each day with more drive and purpose. For those taking statins, it's non-negotiable. For everyone else, it's one of the most powerful ways to maintain endurance and protect the heart that's kept you alive through every chapter of your life. Walter still visits me once a year, and every time, he shakes my hand with that strong, calloused grip and says, "Doc, still dancing." That's the power of one molecule, quietly fueling the most important muscle in your body. But here's the thing. Vitamins and nutrients alone are only half the story. What truly matters is how they change you, how they help you rebuild your confidence, your strength, and your will to live fully again. Because when that happens, you're not just surviving past 60, you're thriving. And that's exactly what I want to leave you with in the final message of this video. Conclusion: reclaiming strength, energy, and life. When I look back over the years, the faces of my patients tell a story far greater than medicine alone. They remind me that vitality isn't about age, it's about chemistry, consistency, and belief. I've seen men walk into my office convinced that time had stolen their power, that the decline was irreversible. And yet, when we addressed the simplest things, the vitamins their bodies were starving for, they came back to life, not just in numbers on a lab report, but in the light behind their eyes, the strength in their handshake, the calm in their voices. Your body is extraordinary. Even after 60, it still knows how to repair, rebuild, and renew itself. It's not broken, it's waiting for you to give it what it needs, the essential nutrients that fuel its machinery and awaken its purpose. Vitamin D. 3 reignites testosterone and muscle strength. B vitamins turn your food into pure energy and mental focus. Magnesium calms the nervous system, deepens your sleep, and keeps your heart steady. Zinc restores masculine vitality, protecting your prostate and rebuilding confidence. And CoQ10 fuels the very core of your being, your heart, your endurance, your drive to keep going. Together, these nutrients don't just extend life, they restore quality to it. They return the clarity, strength, and motivation that aging often dims. And when you take them in the morning with intention, you send your body a message. I'm not done yet. I still have things to build, people to love, and life to live. I think often of the men I've treated, John, Henry, Robert, Thomas, and Walter, each one a reminder that change is possible at any age. They didn't find miracles in a bottle. They found them in the quiet, daily act of care, of giving their body what it had been missing for years. Within weeks, they felt stronger. Within months, they looked years younger. And perhaps most importantly, they felt like themselves again. If you're listening to this right now, wondering if it's too late, I want to tell you as a doctor and as a man, it's not. The human body never stops responding to nourishment, to rhythm, to attention. When you treat it with care, it remembers. The blood starts flowing stronger, the muscles respond faster, and the mind becomes clearer. That's the real secret of longevity, not just surviving, but feeling oritzro. So tomorrow morning, when you sit at your kitchen table, take a deep breath. Pour yourself a glass of water. And when you take your vitamins, do it with gratitude. You're not just swallowing capsules, you're rebuilding the foundation of your strength. Every morning becomes a small promise to yourself that you will keep showing up, keep moving, and keep thriving. And before you go, I want to leave you with one truth I've learned after decades of practice. Aging doesn't weaken you. Neglect does. The moment you begin to care for your body again, it responds with gratitude and resilience. You can reclaim your energy, your power, and your confidence one morning at a time. If this message resonated with you, share it with a friend, a brother, or a husband who needs to hear that it's never too late to rebuild, because every man deserves to feel strong again. And sometimes, all it takes is 5 minutes each morning and the right vitamins to remind your body what it means to live fully. Now, as we close, I want you to remember this. Your best days aren't behind you. They're waiting for you to wake them up.